Hi, folks. This is Mark by Mark A. Foster, Ph.D., for the Institute for Dialectical Meta-Realism. I wanted to read you a somewhat disappointing portion of an article, and so I will put on my spectacles and read the article to you. It is taken from the Jerusalem Post. Headline: Progressive Judaism leaders meet with Pope Francis, ask for prayer for release of hostages. Now, as I said, I'm only going to read one part of it. The rest of it is really not that not that relevant. Um, one of the people in attendance, asked Pope Francis, as a leader who has worked for decades for human rights, to raise your voice and use your influence in the world for the release of the 132 hostages held by Hamas, to echo the urgency throughout the world and to get to the heart of the matter immediately. That section of the article was entitled "The Progressive and Zionist Jewish Identity." I will leave it off at that. I guess the people there thought that progressive Judaism and Zionist Judaism were compatible. I will not comment on that. I will leave it to you to make a decision about it. What I will say is that I am extremely disheartened by what I just read. There was no mention at all made about the hostages from Gaza that are being held. No mention at all of them. Only the hostages that are being held by Hamas. Why? If they are trying to look for unity, which is what they claim in the article, and I will put a link to this article in the discussion section so you can read it for yourself, then why would they leave out the Hamas hostages that are being held right now? I don't understand it. They claim to be progressive, whatever that means. I am not a progressive. I am a Maoist third worldist. So I have no say or sway over what progressivism is or should be. But by the same token, I would think that if they are truly progressive, based upon my understanding of what that term means, they would be reaching out to all the hostages, not only the hostages that are being held by Hamas, but also the hostages from Gaza. Why are they not mentioned in this? And they are not. Very, very disheartening. I wish the article were different than it is. I'm happy once again to see that Pope Francis is willing to meet with people like this. It is good. Talking is always good. Nothing wrong with having a conversation with people. But I can tell you, if I were Pope Francis, and thank God I'm not, I would have chided these people. I would have reprimanded them. How dare you come to me asking for the release of Jewish hostages being held by Hamas and not at the same time asking for the release of Gazan hostages? Why? They are all human beings. You may say that you are progressives. Again, I must admit I don't really understand that term. But you do not seem progressive to me. I would literally confront them. I don't know if Pope Francis does that. I don't know what his style of conversation is. I am unaware that he has ever actually confronted anyone that he has met with. I think he tries to be kind and understanding. Well, there is a place for that. There is a place for being kind and understanding, and there is a place for being honest and blunt. And if any occasion demanded honesty and bluntness, it was this one, which was attended by progressive and Zionists. So again, it's like another day in the world we live in, just another day, nothing to be surprised at. Same old, same old. The world is still spinning out of control. That tribalism, which infuses the world, where people care about their own people and not about the people from another tribe, in this case, the Gazans, is really disappointing. And especially that Pope Francis was apparently willing to meet with them without calling them out, without at least saying something like, aren't you concerned about the Gazan hostages? Aren't you concerned about them as well? Why just about the Israeli hostages? Why? Why? Makes no sense. But then again, I have honestly stopped expecting the world that we live in to make sense. It almost never does. It is just a continual repeat. Echo upon echo upon echo. People fixated on their own needs, on their own people, and caring not a bit about another people who are being held hostage. So what I would say, not knowing what progressivism is, but assuming that it must mean something opposite to conservatism, something opposite to the kind of horrendous campaign that we see has been going on in Gaza. Why did they, of all people, not mention the hostages from Gaza? That is a question I would like to see answered, but it is not answered in this article. I will place a link to the article in the discussion section directly below the video. I would appreciate your comments. I would appreciate your likes. If you are not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. This channel is not monetized at all. If it were monetized, I imagine I would have lost that a long time ago. But I also do not, accept any money through any other source like buy me a coffee. So I'm not in this game to make money. I am in this game to help the human heart as best I can, which is probably not much at all, because I see that what I have done has basically borne no fruit. At least not yet. For the time being, this has been Mark, by Mark A. Foster, Ph.D., for the Institute for Dialectical Meta-Realism. Have a pleasant day and an even better day tomorrow.